Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. So today, of course, we're going to be reviewing Ring of Honor featuring many matches, such as, of course, a match that happened in CML with the ROH World Tag Team belts. Sky Team, consisting of Máscara Dorada and Místico, who are the current champions, defend their belts against Los Hermanos Chavez, better known as Ángel de Oro and Ángel de Plata. So that's going to be a very interesting match. But however, the main event features Lio Rush defending the ROH World Television title against Lee Johnson. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Cut! And then, of course, we have TNA with more of the first two rounds of the TNA Knockouts Television Title Tournament. So the real question is who will get these last two spots. Well, we'll see how that plays out too. But the main event, of course, features the X-Division title. Cedric Alexander defends it against Fabian Eichner, so it's going to be a very interesting one to watch. But don't worry, we even got more matches and more storylines on this one as well. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing, of course, Baka Gaijin and Friends' recent events. One dates back in May, where they made a trip to Manila, Philippines, of course, with Manila Volume 2, featuring many matches, but not only, of course, from their friends DexCon, but also some, of course, regulars in Baka Gaijin and, of course, other places too. And then, of course, we move on with Volume 33 by Baka Gaijin and Friends, featuring more matches on this one. But the main event, the BKG Openweight Championship, is on the line. So it's going to be a lot of fun to enjoy. But also, just to let you guys know, no news updates for today. So, let's get ready with another Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We, of course, do discussion videos talking about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either do it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We have, of course, some real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something happens in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers, let's get started. So let's begin, of course, with Baka Gaijin and Friends Manila Volume 2. Alright, Baka Gaijin and Friends. This one they head to Manila, of course, in the Philippines. This is Manila Volume 2, and this happened on May 23rd, of course. Yeah, I know some of you are probably saying, J-Rod is 2 months ago. Yes, I should have done it, but why not? I'm doing it on here anyway. Now, we opened up a tag team action featuring Zack Sabre Jr., teaming up with Chris Brooks. As you all know, Chris Brooks is the founder of Baka Gaijin and Friends, so as you know, he has good connections in the Philippines as well. They face against Super P and Hot Dog de San Jose. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but it is what it is, how they are. I mean, the Philippines are trying to get into the whole wrestling thing like everybody else. But the match was fun. It was very exciting. But I don't know if these guys knew exactly what they got themselves into, because Zack Sabre Jr. was the one that picked up the win on Hot Dog himself when he put him in the octopus, and then just like that, tapped out. It was over right from there. Next up, we had a 6-person tag match. We have Di Menintang, Daniela Serventi, Max, what's his name? Hold on, Max Mastigwani, and Crystal taking on Joja, Mainron, and Rebound Sauce. I think that's. But yes, another interesting match. I mean, of course, because they're playing in a mat, is kind of interesting. I wasn't too sure where this one. I'm not familiarized with majority. I know I heard the name Crystal before, but this match ended with, of course, a cutter by Joja onto, of course, onto Mainron, and just like that, no, onto Max, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next up, we do had another tag team. We have trainee Kenzo and trainee Kiko taking on Matt Cat, Karina, and Emnon. I don't know why they call these guys trainee Kenzo or trainee Emnon and Kiko. I'm going to say either the rookies still on the learning curve. I'm not sure. I'm completely lost on that. But anyway, the match was okay. But it ended with, of course, a styles clash by Emnon onto Kiko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. It was enjoyable. Next up, we have, of course, Monotatsu Nakamura, who many of you seen on Baka Gaijin on a regular basis, and of course on Choco Pro, but he's also with Gambari Pro. He takes on Jonathan Johnson, who many of you may not know who he is. He's a wrestler that you may have seen in the Talent promotion setup. It was a real fun match, very intensified. First, I thought it was going to be Nakamura that picked up the win, but no. Jonathan Johnson picked up the win when he applied the bridge onto him. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, we have Lifeguard Jack and Black Cat taking on Jack De Leon and Shavam. Many of you know the Shavam from setup as well. Pretty impressive match, very intensified. But, however, it was in a spear onto, of course, onto a Lifeguard Jack by a Jack De Leon, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. It was a fun match. Now, if you guys want to see this, you should go on their YouTube channel and check it out. So I have to say it was okay event. Not the best or anything, but okay, solid. That's pretty much it. So we're done right now with this one. Let's move on with our next Baka Gaijin and Friends, and this one is volume 31. Okay, continuing on with more with Baka Gaijin and Friends. As you know, the previous month they were in Manila in the Philippines. Now they went back to Japan with volume 33, and this one happened in June 30th, so we're not that far along from there, maybe less than 30 days or so. But anyway, we opened up with, of course, the founder himself, Chris Brooks, taking on Miles Karu. So many of you may have seen him recently in Choco Pro, of course, teaming up in singles or tag team actions. But it was a fun event that we have been watching, and it was a pretty good one. But however, Chris Brooks was able to put him away with the octopus, and just like that, Miles tapped out. Next up, we have Kota Sekifuda taking on, of course, Antonio Honda. Well, it's been a while since I've seen him, but he looks kind of old, with the white beard coming out. But of course, the one thing I don't know if Sekifuda knows, that don't mess with Honda, because you get trapped in his usual, the fox, or telling his little stories that you don't want to be involved in, because that's what happens with him. But somehow Sekifuda knew better not to get involved, and he was able to put him away with the Superman. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Next up, we have tag team action. We got a bit of a showdown from the same faction. So we have Munich teaming up with his boss, of course, Dark King Uiki. They take on Princess Ram and Square Kung. So basically, this is going to become a very very interesting match. I mean, we did see force field being played and all this other stuff, powder being used. But however, it was Square Kung who picked up the win when he applied the Made in Japan onto Munich, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. It was over right from there. Now, our main events is the BKG Openweight Championship. Mr. Bueno, along with his brother, Mr. Malo, take on a mystery opponent that no one knew who was signed up, and it turned out to be, of course, Toto Owashi. Now, for those who don't know who Toto Owashi is, he's a veteran wrestler. You might have seen him in DDT Pro Wrestling. Really interesting wrestler. He also have a sumo background, in case anybody asks. And of course, he did put up some sumo style in the match. But of course, Toto Owashi tried to play the smart game where he tried to pretend he's Mr. Malo, but it didn't work. But luckily, of course, it was Mr. Bueno that walked away with the win when he applied the Magistral. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, retained the title. So it was a very fun, interesting matchup. Not the best one on from my point of view, but it was okay. Very solid. Yeah. You guys should check these out. You can go on their YouTube channel, Baka Gaijin and Friends. We'll see how that goes. But right now, we're done with them. Let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. So we start out with, of course, a bit of a vignette from Lio Rush. Now, as you know, we've been seeing him with this thing with cuts and the ROH World Television Title. Don't know the meaning of it, but yes, that was what the play was with there. Now, our first opening match is the ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Belts. Of course, the premier athletes who are annoying. Tony Nese and Arya Davari teaming up with Beef in hopes to win these belts. They face, of course, the Outrunners and, of course, Dalton Castle. Obviously, we know that was their end game. Of course, we know that idiot Sterling was going to get involved, but they even tried to get Beef to use the belt on, of course, on the champions. But however, Beef refused to do so. That was not his intent, but that might have cost them the match. He ended up being on the wrong side of the Bangarang by Dalton Castle. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, we have Angelico versus Tim Bosby. Now, we have seen him recently doing, like, squash matches in AEW Dynamite or Collision, faced against Angelico. But, of course, Angelico, we all know his deal. He can put you in a submission. So he applied the Navarro lock onto him, and just like that, he tapped out. It was over right from the very beginning. Next up, we have the main man Oro taking on Mark Davidson. Of course, this one we all know, main man Oro. We know his reputation. Some of you may remember him as Oro Mensa in NXT and Evolve for quite some time, but now he's here. He picked up the win by pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. Nothing too special about this. I mean, of course, he was going to win. That was one of the things I've noticed. Next up, we have the Workhorsemen versus the Kingdom. Now, of course, the Kingdom made the return not too long ago, and they defeated the Buster and the Brain. But now they're facing a couple of blue-collar fighters in many ways. I mean, we all know the Workhorsemen are the toughest guys, but the Kingdom always act like they think they're above everyone else with their usual tactics. Not to mention when, of course, Matt Taven actually used the rope when he rolled up JD Drake, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. Ref did not see his feet on the rope, but they won like that. And I'm sure JD Drake and Anthony Henry are not happy with the loss on this one. Next up, we have Alan Angels versus AR Fox, and there's a bit of a bit history about these two. Of course, it was revealed that they are from this, that it was AR Fox to train Alan Angels, and now Alan Angels feels like he can surpass him, that his time is up, he needs to go, that sort of thing. And of course, he got in, tried to tell him that he sucks and all this, but AR Fox was not going to let that happen. He actually put him away with the 450. 1, 2, 3. Adios. Now we head to CMLL in Arena, Mexico. Of course, we have the ROH World Tag Team belts on the line. Los Hermanos Chavez, Ángel de Oro, and Ángel de Plata taking on Sky Team, consistent of Máscara Dorada and the man himself, Místico. Now, if you guys ever watched this match, you can tell that they have the similar colors. You have, of course, Ángel de Oro in gold. Máscara Dorada has that same thing too. And then, of course, Místico with the plata, with the silver. Same thing with Ángel de Plata, of course. That kind of is interesting. But some of you probably can tell the difference if you saw clearly who they are, if you're up close. And there was a lot of good high-flying moments. But there was like an interesting one where they did a front gory bomb on the champions, but that did not do any well. But however, it was Místico with the La Mística onto Ángel de Oro and forced them to tap out, and just like that, they retained the tag team titles. Now, our next match, well, we do have an interview with Sammy, of course. Sammy talked about how he was tag team champion without even losing it, you know, first with Dustin Rhodes, the Rush, and then later, of course, Bis Mortos, traveling the world, of course, teaming up with whoever. He sees himself like he's just water, and there's certain things like that happen. And of course, he talked about his inner personality, like he's fighting himself in many ways. So I don't know exactly where that was going to, but it did play out very well on that. So we'll see from that. Now, our next match, we have Busta and the Brain taking on, of course, MXM Collection. I was wondering how this was going to go. I was very curious about it from the very start. One thing that led to another. MXM Collection always act like they have to fix their opponents or fix themselves. Mansoor had like a comb or something, and then Alec Price used it and put it inside his trousers, and of course he used it to beard off, Mansoor's beard, and of course it must have been disgusting for him. But yes, but however, it was Jordan Oliver that picked up the win by pinning Mansoor, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next up, we have Bratlin Cutler taking on Desmond Xavier. Pretty good match, not gonna lie, but man, Desmond really impresses me every single time with that cardiac kick all the time. And no one called it cardiac kick, but they ought to, and it plays out pretty well. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our next match, we have Shane Taylor Promotions, consistent of the Infantry, Carly Bravo, and Sean Dean, teaming up with Lee Johnson, Lee Moriarty, and Shane Taylor. They take on, of course, Adam Priest, Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. So you know this is going to be a fight, of course, a fight for your life, because we know that Shane Taylor Promotions are determined to prove they are the dominant faction in ROH, and they are more dangerous than anybody else, because that's what they always trying to prove. But however, it was in fact Adam Priest that picked up the win onto Sean Dean, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Next up, we have Lacey Lane and Viva Van. They take on, of course, Billy Starks and Athena, and of course the Minions are trying to prove they are the ones that are in control of the women's division in ROH, and that's always been the play that they've been aiming for. But however, of course, we did see some tactics coming from Athena to ensure she wins, but in the end we saw the surfboard stomp onto Viva Van by Athena, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our main event, we have, of course, the ROH World Television title. Lee Johnson faces Leo Rush, and of course Leo Rush with his usual thing with the cuts, all this, talking to somebody. That is very interesting. But of course, Blake Christian had to get involved. He should have just stayed and minded his own business. But however, Lio Rush was able to pick up the win when he put him in a uh, somewhat of a Moodle lock type of maneuver, and just like that, Johnson did not tap out. Referee called it. It was over. Lio Rush won, retaining the title. So I thought it was a very fun one. So we'll leave things it is and move on to our last and final review, and that is of course TNA. All right, final review TNA. We opened up with uh, the one of the two last final opening rounds of the TNA Knockouts television title tournament. We have M by Elegance being escorted with, of course, that idiot, the Chihuahua, who's still blind, with Heather. They take on Rosemary. Now, of course, if you guys saw what happened last time, Heather took on Allie and won thanks to interference from the outside. The real question is, can they pull it off? Well, of course, it did thanks to Heather. Uh, but of course, M decided to blind Rosemary by using champagne onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, if I was M, I wouldn't keep. If I was M, I wouldn't be safe, because one way or the other, you trying to spit champagne into her, that's not going to be helpful. Now, the system, as you know, they were not happy with certain losses that happened. They're saying they are trying to pretend this doesn't mean nothing. That means they're just still going to keep on going no matter what. And that's exactly what they've been trying to prove since the reformation. And of course, Cedric Alexander is determined to keep this belt, saying that he is going to make it what it is under his own terms. So we'll see about that. Now, our next match, we have AJ Francis versus Moose. Now, this match kind of was instigated thanks to the so-called king, Frankie Kazarian, all that. And, of course, Expressions had to get involved. I mean, he's such a weasel, of course. But, of course, Moose accidentally got in the face of Frankie Kazarian. Then he threw down the popcorn. And then Frankie got mad and attacked him from behind, of course, causing this match to become a no disqualification. So... But Francis did manage to put him through the table, and put him in down payment, and just like that, sending the message clear. Now, it was still unclear whether it's a no contest or whatever, but yes. Now, Elena Black, as you know, she is determined to go to the top, but however, Xia Brookside did not like what she was hearing. She's telling her, girl, you may be the champion, but I'm the one who's better than you. And of course, I'm sure Xia Brookside is not going to take that kindly. If I was her, if I was Elena, I would watch my back. But let's see about that. Now, the other four, as you know, in recent time, they have been losing their matches. So, of course, they wanted to address it. Well, mostly Mustafa Ali. He was talking about, of course, the dumb hands, of course, John Skyler and Jason Hodge, and of course, Tasha Steelz. So he decided that they're going to need help, and he has someone who is going to help them out, and that is Mila Moore, who many of you seen her. She teamed up with Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford, but however, because of Tessa Blanchard's affiliation with CML, it forced her to quit, to leave. And of course, I have to say, it's a smart move to have Mila to be recycled to something else, and this is going to be. But however, Skyler, Hodge, and Steelz were not happy. They're like, what? Like, they couldn't believe what was happening. And of course, Mustafa said that there's going to be a vote who's going to be the next challenger for the international championship. So we'll see about that too. Now, our next match, we have Bear Bronson versus Ricky Souza. Now, of course, when Ricky Souza first came around, the system tried to recruit him, but he turned him down. And I have to say, this match was too brutalized for him. I mean, Bear Bronson took him out completely. But, of course, he had to watch out for Myers, who kept getting in the way too many times. But Bear Bronson put him down on the bear down, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Moose approached Elijah, of course, and he tells him, did you see what happened? Look, I know you dealt with those two before. I need help with this one. And of course, Elijah said, no problem, man. I dealt with them. So let's walk let's walk the path of Elijah, that sort of thing. So Moose was happy to know he can count on someone who dealt with both of them at certain times. Now, we got the last opening round of the TNA Knockouts television title tournament. We have Harley Hudson versus Thea Hale. Many of you were surprised they didn't know she's in it. So she came all the way from NXT. She is determined to become the youngest person to ever held the belt, and I think that's very important. And of course, she was able to pick up the win by pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she's in there. So it's going to be interesting to go on. Now, Nick Bennett, of course, had to come out to do a promo, but Casey Navarro had something to say, but Nick does not want to hear it. He told him that, he is not that he's no longer a priority, but Casey Navarro tells him, I did what you asked and you didn't give anything back. So that pisses him off. But he told him, if you just walk away, I'll talk to Daria to give you a world title shot. But of course, I'm sure Nick Bennett is going to try to embarrass him. But if I was Casey Navarro, I would get some help to deal with Ryan Bennett. But we'll see. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the TNA X-Division Championship. Cedric Alexander defending against Fabian Eichner. Man, this match was going great. There were moments where Cedric Alexander thought he had this match won in certain aspects. But however, of course, he was able to apply the lumbar check. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, he retained the belt. And then, of course, Eddie Edwards showed up in order to take him out. But, of course, how do I say? Souza showed up to beat them down, and then Leon Slater, so it became a war between them and, of course, the system. So that's interesting to see. I would like to see Eichner, Souza, and Leon Slater form like their own group to deal with the system. So we'll see what happens from there. But for right now, we are done with everything, and we have no news updates today, so let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, well, I am considering for our next video to be a discussion video. This one is going to be about Los Perros del Mar. So if you guys remember, I'm going to be talking about the faction that was formed over 25 years ago by the late Pedro Aguayo Jr. What made these guys a very special, unique faction that was recognized throughout Mexico, appearing in AAA and CML and having their own promotion, and of course other people who actually been part of this. And of course, what are my thoughts with the new revival of the Los Perros? And we'll see. That's going to be interesting to watch. So stay tuned for that. So as for the next episode, I might do it afterwards. So we'll leave things as it is. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I'm going to bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.